So I've been doing Faces YouTube for about 4 years now, but I actually been doing YouTube itself for about 12 years now, which sounds pretty crazy when I think about it. Now, currently I have 4 channels that I don't show my face that help me make 6 figures a year. But in this video, I want to talk about my beginning and how I started on YouTube and basically how I started my own entrepreneurial journey so that if you guys are watching this video and you're struggling, you can calm down and really resonate with my story, because I failed so many times in my life that it's kind of hard to count. And I also want to show you guys how I changed my mindset on failure and how I really don't look at it as a negative. Okay, so when I started my first YouTube channel, I was actually 12 years old. Now back then, YouTube was kind of new at the time. This was about in 2011, 2012-ish. And I decided to start my own YouTube channel just for fun. The videos I made were animation videos, like stick figure fighting videos. If you guys have seen YouTube channels like The Odd One Is Out, think of that. Or if you guys have seen those stick figure fighting animations where they do those super cool, crazy edits, yeah, I tried to do videos like that, even though my edits weren't as good. Honestly, at the time, I just did it because I loved it and I really liked anime, and I especially loved Dragon Ball Z. So I just did a bunch of animations about Dragon Ball Z and super cool videos like that. And at the time, I thought they were the coolest things on planet Earth, bro. And over time, I started uploading more and more and started getting more and more views. And one of the craziest moments of my life, I'll never forget this. One of my videos for my animations got over 30,000 views in just 1 week. Now, today, 30,000 views doesn't sound that crazy, but back then, to me, that was unbelievable. I thought it was famous. That was it. I was so excited, and it really motivated me to keep making videos. And deep down, I felt like my dream was always to become a YouTuber or do something with YouTube for my career. And eventually, I actually joined the YouTube Partner Program, which was honestly crazy for me. See, now the YouTube Partner Program has a lot higher requirements to actually get into it. You need at least 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time. But back then in 2012, 2013, it really wasn't that hard to get into. So my small channel with barely 1,000 subscribers just got accepted to the partner program, which was honestly amazing. I was so pumped. It was crazy that I could actually start making money from YouTube videos that I like to make anyway. Like, it was insane to me. Now, of course, that channel never really made me that much money. I made a couple cents here and there, maybe $1 or $2 a day, but still, literally making $1 a day doing what I was going to do anyway, like, that felt so awesome to me. But the thing is, I reached a big problem that a lot of YouTubers and especially a lot of animators go through when they start on YouTube. And that is that it's really, really hard to make videos. Literally, to make one 10-minute animation, it took me like a month and a half and that's working 4 to 6 hours a day, because every single little frame you make on an animation is like half a second. So you need like hundreds, thousands of frames to make like 10 minutes. It's insane to me. Now, I did like the work because obviously it was what I like to do, but it was just so time consuming. And keep in mind, I was going from middle school to high school and my workload was getting heavier. So I just decided I'm not going to do this anymore, because even though I like it, I can't justify doing this. I have other responsibilities to do. Now, even though I abandoned that channel at the time, I still had this dream of starting my own YouTube channel and being big. I see people like PewDiePie and Mr. Beast, and at the time I said, this is what I want to do. If there's any way to be able to make this much money and become successful on YouTube, I got to figure it out, because that was one of my big dreams. So that entrepreneurial spirit never really left me. So I decided to actually look online and figure out ways to make money. I mean, that's what anybody does, right? Whenever they start a business, they Google it first. Now, I kept scrolling, kept Googling, and one of the ways I found out to make money online was to actually sell things on eBay. And to me, that seemed like a very simple concept to do. It wasn't that hard. Just find stuff in your house or go thrift shopping, find them for a certain price, and sell them for more. It's very simple. So that's what I started to do going to college. I started to find stuff online to sell online. I go to thrift stores like Goodwill, Salvation Army, and find stuff that I could flip. Now, the thing is, I did make a couple of dollars here and there, but it wasn't really life-changing or crazy money, because when starting a business like that, you have to have a lot of inventory. And to find the inventory, you have to go outside and you have to keep looking on shelves in stores every single day. It was very time-consuming, especially when you're a college kid and you have to study, you have other responsibilities. So for me, it never really grew to a point that I wanted to, because I had to spend so much time in the business. And plus, the type of stuff I sold didn't really make me that much money at the time. Now, I found another way to make money, which was buying and reselling iPhones. And it did work for me for a little bit. I remember selling phones for actually a really great profit, a couple $100s per phone. I needed a consistent way to get phones to get consistent income. So I decided to move from that business and find a new product that I could sell consistently without having to worry about lack of inventory. And that's when the business dropshipping came to me. Now, keep in mind, this is 2017 when dropshipping was still kind of new at its point, especially Shopify dropshipping. For those of you who don't know, dropshipping is basically when you buy products from a wholesale retailer, then you sell it on your own website online to people across the world. Now, people usually source their products from places like AliExpress and Alibaba, and those places are overseas suppliers, usually in China, because the products they make are so cheap. So it'd be a lot easier to make a profit, of course. So at the time, I thought this business model was super cool, and I started my own Shopify dropshipping store. Now, I kept trying and kept failing for about a year and a half. I sold everything under the sun. I went online, I tried selling clothes, I tried selling weird gadgets. My first sale, I remember, was when I sold a Kyrie Irving phone case. And that first sale was amazing because when I heard that Shopify noise ding, it was honestly intoxicating to me. I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. This first business is working. I'm officially in business now. But the worst part about that is they returned the phone case a day later, because the guy said that Kyrie Irving wasn't on the Cavs anymore. He just moved to the Celtics, and they wanted a Celtics case instead. Now, of course, I was sad, but I was still happy because I realized, oh my gosh, this is real. Like, this is a way to make real money. So I started following the big people on YouTube, like Bia Heza, Jordan Welsh, Sebastian Georgiou. And at the time, they were just starting their journey, so I felt like I could grow with them and start my own. But the biggest problem I realized was that it took a lot of investment to help this business grow. It took so much money, so much time, so much effort, and at the time, I was a broke college kid, and I really didn't have enough money to actually invest into it. Even though I had the skills of Facebook advertising, I had the skills of building a Shopify website, I didn't have enough money to invest into the business. And I realized that was one of my biggest mistakes because I didn't understand or realize that instead of marketing through advertising, you can do organic marketing and grow a business much easier that way. But at the time, I didn't know or realize that. So ultimately, I was down thousands of dollars and I was definitely depressed because I would go online and see people succeed every single day. I see people saying, I just bought my new Lambo from dropshipping, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm still broke. It honestly really depressed me and it made me want to quit, but I never ever quit no matter what. And at some point after a year and a half of trying, I realized that maybe right now dropshipping isn't the business model for me. So what I did was I moved from dropshipping to another business model called social media marketing. The reason why I did that was because I saw that I had all the skills to market other people's products, and I did have some successes here and there, so it's not like it was a total failure. However, I just didn't have the money to invest into myself to help my business grow. So I decided to go to local businesses and help them grow their business with my marketing skills. So I went to those local businesses, I talked to them, and I cold called people, and I started getting meetings with clients. Now, it took me about 200 cold calls to get my first meeting. It was crazy. And it took me about 15 meetings before I closed my first client on social media marketing. And when I closed that first client, I was super happy and excited because that's when I realized no matter what business you start, as long as you go in and you work as hard as you can, it can succeed for you. But a big problem with this social media marketing agency was that I didn't understand how to hire people and automate the process. Plus, it was predicated on other people spending money on advertising. So if a specific client decides to stop spending money on advertising, or at least slow down on their budget, then they would get less results, and as a result, I would get paid less because of it. Even though I was making decent money, maybe $1,000 to $2,000 a month just from this business, it was never really a business that was sustainable or scalable for me at the time because I didn't have the skills. So after a year of doing that, I decided to stop and move on and try another business that I feel like would be a lot more sustainable, a lot more stable, and one that I could just run on autopilot. So after these two business failures, I felt very depressed. But no matter how bad I felt, I just said I'm not going to quit because I spent so much time, so much effort, and I really truly believe that I could figure out a way to become a successful entrepreneur. I just felt like the specific business wasn't right for me at the time. That's when I started another business, which was called Airbnb Arbitrage. I'm pretty sure you guys have heard of it. Airbnb Arbitrage, for those of you who don't know, was basically when you go to local landlords in your area and you tell them that you want to rent out their property. But instead of actually living in the property, you want to use that property for Airbnb. Now, if you guys have ever heard of Sean Rockageesh or Brian Page, those two guys are basically the pioneers of this business model. And the business model was very, very lucrative for me as well. So at the time I was in college, I didn't have much money, but I had a business partner who decided to come in with me and actually get an apartment together. So I kept calling and kept trying to find landlords, and almost all of them said no, of course. I just kept going at it, and I finally found an apartment that worked for me. Now, me and my business partner got the furniture, put everything together, and we were basically open for business. Now, the first week that I was open on the Airbnb, we were booked out for the first 3 months. It was insane to me. Literally, we generated about $7,000 in the first week. The listing was amazing. Things were going great, and I was super excited. I felt like this was a business for me. I finally found a company and business that I could start, that I could grow and scale. But there was another big problem that I realized, and that was the pandemic. So literally, I started that business in 2020, and that was literally when everybody decided to shut all the businesses down. So literally a week after I got all those bookings, my whole calendar was empty again. And I was like, oh my gosh, why am I so unlucky? This is crazy, bro. Right when I start to find some success, things just start to end for me. It was terrible. I felt super, super depressed, but we figured out a way to at least break even for a couple months. Then I realized that if the whole country is starting to shut down and travel starting to go down, let me just take a step back and not do this business so far. Now, I'm not gonna lie, there were moments where the business was doing well, even through those hard times. Like certain months I was generating 10 to 15K a month. But the problem was that there was a lot of expenses, and I never owned the properties, so I would never gain equity in the real estate that I have. And you don't actually own the properties yourself, so there's not much of a long-term game with that type of business. And I realized that that was one of my biggest issues when starting with business. All the businesses that I start didn't have much long-term value. They may work for a little bit, but after 10 or 15 years, the business model wouldn't last because you wouldn't really own anything. Now, looking back, I can say that and understand that, but at the time, I really didn't. Because I was just so focused on growing a business that I really didn't think about the specific business I should start and have a real exit plan for that business. So after failing with dropshipping, failing with social media marketing, failing with Airbnb arbitrage, I was very sad, very depressed, and I decided to, just take some time off from business and really just reflect on where I was at that point in my life. So as I was taking some time off and reflecting and still going to school, I saw that my old YouTube channel that I started when I was 12 literally still was getting views till this day. Like, it was insane to me. Like, I was only getting maybe 10, 15, 20 views a day, but still, I didn't upload on that channel for literally 10 years. Like, literally. I look back, I was like, oh my gosh, this is insane. And that's when it clicked for me. That's when I realized that I need to start a YouTube channel. Because YouTube is a business model that can last forever. Starting a YouTube channel is like having digital real estate. Because you can start a YouTube channel today and make money on it for years and years to come. Because the video you make will always have people coming and looking at your content. And that's when everything clicked for me. So I told myself that I'm only going to start YouTube channels where I don't show my face, because I made a faceless YouTube channel before, so I knew it would work again. Then I started researching ways to actually grow a successful YouTube channel, and I built my own tactic on how to optimize YouTube channels effectively so that you know for a fact that the YouTube channel will get views. And once I figured that out, my YouTube career blew up pretty much instantly. So the first faceless channel that I started coming back into YouTube, it was actually in a very funny niche. The niche was the relationship niche. So the channel talked about dating, improving yourself as a man, improving yourself as a woman, and stories that people had about their dates as well. And that channel did absolutely amazingly. In my first month of starting the channel, in literally my first month, I generated $10,263. Literally, it grew exponentially because I understood how to actually optimize the videos so that they would pop up on their search pages first. And honestly, it was kind of unbelievable for me because I couldn't even believe that I even made that much money just from putting videos online. When that Google AdSense hit my account, I knew for a fact that that's it. That is it. I'm going to start a faceless YouTube channel business and grow that into a crazy business that can make me money for years to come. So I kept making more and more videos, and I started expanding to more channels. But then I realized the same problem I had before, which is that I didn't have any time on my hands because all I did was keep making the videos myself. But then that's when I realized how to hire people out from different websites like Fiverr, Upwork, Freelancer.com. And I used those people to create the content for me. So at that point, I just became a manager, and I managed the content that they would make. So I was completely free from that point. I didn't have to worry about anything. I just made sure the content was good enough and gave it the okay. And then now I'm at a point where I have 4 different YouTube channels that are paying me crazy amounts of money per month. And I'm super happy and super proud of the position I am in today. And that's why I created this channel, because I want to help you guys as well reach that point. Because if you guys are on your entrepreneurial journey and you feel like you're failing all the time and people around you don't believe in you, people say you can't do it, and you don't even believe in yourself, I'm telling you, guys, do not give up. What you got to realize is that if you're still alive and you're still continuing to try, you are not failing. So if you guys are here for this long, thank you so much for listening to my story. And I'm going to keep grinding and give you guys the best content to help you grow your own Faces YouTube channels. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching, and stay uploading.